Hey everyone, we're here with a special preview of a game coming to Kickstarter.
So get ready to go to a fantastical world with mystical beings.
This is our preview for Magical Unicorn Quest. Magical Unicorn Quest is a take-that set collection style game.
Where you're in a magical forest with mystical beings.
And your whole goal is to collect the Majestic Unicorn and the Golden Unicorn. There are two gameplay variants for how to play Magical Unicorn Quest. We're mainly going to talk about the standard version, where each player gets their own stable. However, we will talk about the variant a little bit later as well.
As Kenny said, everyone starts out with a stable. What is a stable? Well, it's going to be the space right in front of you, and for those who maybe don't have that great of imagination, you can get the little playmats too, and as you can see, it's a stable.
So you'll take the deck of cards, which is called the Forest deck, and then you're going to shuffle those, and then deal out 6 cards to each player. The remaining cards are put in the center as a draw pile. The player who last ate cotton candy will go first.
Alright, so let's talk about the cards. There's basically 3 types of cards. There's mystical beings, mystical potions, and mystical magic.
The mystical being cards are special characters that you can play in your stable, and they will give you special abilities that you can play on your turn.
Mystical potions offer one-time effects that you can play on your turn.
And the mystical magic cards you can play at any time, and basically they can stop someone else from doing a move, or there's the unicorn thief where you can take someone else's unicorn if they play a unicorn.
At the start of your turn, you draw 1 card, and then you can take multiple actions.
You can play up to 1 mystical being in your stable, you can play up to 1 magical potion, and then you must activate all of the abilities of any mystical beings in your stable.
These actions can be played in many different ways. So for example, you can play a mystical being, activate an ability, then play a potion and activate another ability.
The key thing to remember is you don't have to play a mystical being and you don't have to play a potion. However, you have to activate all of the abilities of whatever mystical beings are in your stable.
Some mystical beings will give you positive abilities and some will give you negative abilities. It just depends on how many you have.
Once you're done taking all of your actions that you're going to take, you draw down to 7.
Each player continues taking turns until one player has collected a Majestic Unicorn and a Golden Unicorn in their stable.
We were given this game by Flame Point Games, the maker of Magical Unicorn Quest, so that we could play through it and do this preview for you. The first thing that I noticed when I opened the box was the artwork. It's very colorful and vibrant, and all the creatures have an interesting look to them.
When I first saw it, it just reminded me of like Rick and Morty. I don't know if you've ever seen that, or just the animation there, or the characters drawn. It's not exactly that, but it reminded me somewhat of that.
One of the good things, once we got the box open and started looking at the directions and handing out the cards and all that, is it doesn't take that long to learn how to play. You can set this up, read the rules, get everyone ready to play in probably less than 10 or 15 minutes, depending on how big of a group you have.
The cards are very self-explanatory. You know, if I have this card, it does this. If I've got more than one of this card, it can do this now.
Now, one of the obvious comparisons here is with the game Unstable Unicorns. They both have to deal with unicorns. You're putting them in your stable. But I think the main difference is there's not as much reading. There's a finite number of mystical beings that you can play, and they all have their certain abilities. Once you understand the abilities of your mystical beings, then it's just about strategizing, and it's not so much, all right, what does this card do? I play it, and then I have to explain to everybody else playing what that card does. This one, as soon as I play a card, everyone knows exactly what that card does.
I really like that it starts off simple, that you have these creatures, these potions, these magic, and then there's the strategy mechanics, or the strategic side of it, that you start to learn more when you think about the order of play that you can do and taking your turns. I think that is a very not in-your-face mechanic, but you definitely will get to see it when you play it more.
That's the main strategy of the game that I found, was knowing when to take your actions. Because remember, you have to do all of the abilities in your stable. So if you have a negative ability, maybe if you play a certain mystical being, you might be able to counteract that negative ability and turn it into a positive. So there's lots of thinking as far as the order of operations of your actions.
And if you get it wrong one time, it's okay. You know, there's going to be another turn and then you'll know. So I think that learning, that continued growth and learning as you play the game makes it kind of fun just in that one playthrough or that second playthrough.
This game is also family friendly. They do have an NSFW expansion pack, but that you don't have to get that. The main deck of Magical Unicorn Quest is very family friendly.
But one thing I did kind of question was like, here's a stable, and now I have a stable of elves and a stable of dwarves and a stable of werewolves. It's funny, like, you know, like I'm the human that like, and this is my own little zoo, but you know,
a zoo of dwarves and elves. Yeah. That's elfish.
Yeah, I know. Dwarf is like they're gonna. But for some reason, the werewolves and the ogres, I don't have a problem with. To all you werewolves and ogre lovers, I'm sorry.
So now we're going to talk a little bit about the variance of this game. The first way that we were talking about was just when you have your stable right in front of you, you're playing your cards. The other way to play this game is if the stables are to your right and to your left. So you don't have a stable in front of you. You're playing off of both stables. So how this works is you actually have two teammates, the player to your right and the player to your left. You both play in one. So if Lee and I are sitting at a table, we'd have a stable in between us and we would both play on that. And then he'd be playing with the person next to him.
Now on your turn, you still play only one mystical being and one mystical potion, but you can play it in either one that you can choose. Now you have to activate the abilities in both stables. First, you start with the right, and then you go to the left.
Part of the strategy with this game is trying to figure out which teammate you're kind of gonna help or not help, or which teammate's helping you or not helping you, because you can tell your teammate what you have and what you're strategizing and what you're planning to do, but you can't show them to prove that you're not lying.
You know, even without saying like, oh, I had this and this is what I think we should be doing, you can just not say that, and then the whole time when they make their moves, you're like, okay, I see how it is. Like, we got this. Don't believe me, we got this. So you can just kind of mess around with each other and just have fun. And I really like that part of sharing stables with the people next to you.
So overall, if you like fantasy style games, you'll like this game. If you like take that set collection games, you'll like this game. If you like family friendly games that a big group of people can play, 2 to 6 players, you'll like this game. If you like solo games, or if you like teammate games, you'll like this game.
Well, now that you put it like that, I like this game.
In our description, we'll have a link for the Kickstarter while it's available, so make sure you check that out. Or if it's 2-3 years from now and you're watching this video and you want to buy the game, find out how to buy it at flamepointgames.com. That was our preview of Magical Unicorn Quest.
What'd you think? Are you gonna back it? Let us know in the comments below.
And if you like our content, please subscribe to our channel.
Until next time, I'm Lee.
And I'm Kenny.